Good evening, Ambassador Freddy. It's a pleasure to have you on my show.
It's a pleasure being invited into your fantastic show.
Uh, Pleasure is ours. And we are going to discuss a very, very important issue and a pressing issue. So I would begin by asking you because Denmark has confronted the issue of illegal immigrants for a very long time. So as we in India are facing this problem and this issue of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants in the entire country, not only in the northeastern region, but in the capital city of India, Delhi too. So I would like to begin by asking you, how do you see the issue of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants in India?
Yeah, basically, it's for you in India to handle that issue, but of course, it also it will be have to be seen in the context of the bilateral relationship between India and Bangladesh, and we know the history surrounding Bangladesh and so forth, and the ties that we have seen evolving since Bangladesh became independent and so forth. But that should not leave the fact behind that we everybody will need to have secured borders, so you can't allow too many people to immigrate illegally. You need to control your population for many, many reasons. Of course, economic reasons, but also for reasons of stability. And we know how India is set. We know West Bengal, we know Assam, we also know Delhi and so forth. And it goes without saying, if you allow too many people coming in a not controlled way, then you will be facing issues. And I think we have seen the same issue across the world, also in Denmark. So you need to tackle that, and how you will tackle it, it's up to you.
So I would also like to understand from you that what measures Danish government has taken when it was confronted with the issue of illegal immigrants, what lessons we can learn from your experience, from your studies, or the particular specific initiatives that you had taken that time.
Yes, Denmark, over years, we were a very welcoming society, and we said, okay, please come and we'll integrate, and we hope that you will integrate as such. That unfortunately, that did not happen. And then, of course, the economic development fluctuated. We had good times, we had not so good times, and so forth. But at some point in time, it became obvious that we needed a very strong border control in order to secure that we will not have too many illegal immigrants coming to our borders. Therefore, we have border control, we have strict policies, and we are even looking in, and we have deported a number of people and so forth. So it's about securing a broad political agreement that you need to preserve your nation, you need to preserve your society, and there is a limit to all societies economically. How many immigrants can you handle in a society? And but the other part of it, if I may say, in Denmark, we have a shortage of laborers and so forth, and therefore we are having a very kind of a generous system, but it's controlled in the sense you need a work permit and so forth. And the last couple of years, in fact, the highest number of work permits issued, the highest number was given to Indians. So we have a lot of the Indians coming to Denmark. Of course, they are skilled, they are very much into IT, research, and engineering and so forth. So without Indians in Denmark, I think many companies in Denmark as such could not survive in the same way. And there was, in fact, a couple of days, a survey published showing that for the first 6 months of this year, foreign workers in Denmark contributed to 12% of our national GDP. So 12%, that's important. But it goes without saying you need to have skilled labor force. You need to have people who can contribute and who are not just trying to take benefit of a better economic situation than the situation they came from or they are leaving behind.
But in India, the situation is very different
Very much
because if you
different.
very much different because our border is quite porous. And if you look at the length of the border, it is India shares 4,096 kilometers of border with Bangladesh. And many states like Tripura, Mizoram, Meghalaya, West Bengal, I mean, they share land boundary with Bangladesh. It was earlier called East Pakistan before 1971. So we had this problem because there is an issue of smuggling, and these illegal immigrants, they obtain or fake IDs by giving fake documents. So these are the issues, and there is the issue of touts
Yeah.
who are facilitating these illegal immigrants.
Right.
And they have a different objective. They are not just economic migrants. They have the objective of changing the demography of our cities, our towns, or states in our country, and that we have seen in the past many years, like Assam. Many districts, many parliamentary constituencies, demography has completely changed. So the objective is entirely different. They are not just economic migrant or the poor laborer, but there are apprehensions. There are that they can be used by terrorist outfits who are sitting across the border as and when they want to, because they are not in few hundreds or few thousand. They could be in lakhs and in crores in India.
But I agree with you. I myself was in West Bengal very shortly, and saw, I mean, how many people are living there. And it goes without saying that if you want to protect your national identity, if you want to secure that crimes are not being imported and all that, then you need a strong borderline. It goes without saying you can't have an open border which is not protected. That will, of course, potentially be an open gate to terrorists, extremists, those who have different ideas about how a democracy should be developed and secured and so forth. And there's only one way of doing it, is really to secure that you have a strong border towards your neighbors, and Bangladesh in particular. And when you talk about how long this border is between Bangladesh and India, of course, it's a big challenge. There are different ways of handling it. Of course, you can have surveillance, you can have use modern technology. But if you look into the geography of these 4,000 plus kilometers of border, you have rural India, you have mountains, hills, and rivers, and so forth. And it goes without saying that if they are not protected or in any way surveyed, then there's a free hand and a free access. And we see, of course, the falsification of documents is quite easy nowadays, and too easy. And therefore, if you don't have a strong border, if you don't have a closed border, which will allow you to protect your interests, then it's quite difficult. So I understand fully, and I've seen with my own eyes how, let's say, uncontrolled illegal immigration will have a decisive negative impact on the social political fabric. So obviously you have to do something about it.
Yeah, because they are creating a pressure on our economy, on our resources, on our healthcare system, on our government hospitals, and many studies have been conducted which state that they actually obtain illegal fake Indian IDs by giving fake documents. There are touts involved in it, and then they take benefits of our welfare schemes more than the our indigenous population or our own citizens. So they are actually taking the resources, our taxpayers' money, and in a way getting benefits out of them. Uh, and they are pressure on education, our infrastructure, on a healthcare system, and of course, they are threat to our security.
Yeah. But welcome to the reality. It has been like that for many years, also in Europe. We had the big exodus from the Middle East and so forth in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And suddenly, thousands of people were just walking along the expressways and so forth, and they came in huge numbers, and some countries welcomed all of them, others were a little bit more restrictive and so forth. But reality is, of course, that the ability for a society to absorb huge numbers of illegal immigrants or just immigrants, there must be a limit to it. And I think you can learn a lot from the Europeans how we have tackled it. And Denmark has a very strict policy of immigration. And I just saw a TV program the other day where we can see a lot of illegal people from across the world, of course, this region, but also from Latin America. They are taking up illegal work in Denmark at construction sites, and then the police, the other agencies are doing raids in order to find out if people are working there illegally or legally. But where there is money, there are always a gate open. But it all starts with a political strategy to secure that you have secured borders that will make it possible for you to control how many is coming in and who should be allowed to come in. And if you can falsify all the documents, which I also read about these Bangladeshis who were caught with falsified or faked Aadhaar cards, it goes without saying that then the trust is, of course, not there. Because if you can get a falsified or faked ID card, then you can illegally enter and you'll be seen as Mr. XYZ. And you come with a different background. You might have economic motives, but you can also have political motives. So in order really to secure that you have the right attitude, you need a strong border, no doubt about that.
One thing I would like to point out here is that we have often seen that the touts tutor these illegal Bangladeshi immigrants not to state their actual
Hello?
exact address